Hey, everybody, and welcome to Gnyp Gnop. It's Friday. It is the 12th day of November. Man,
yeah,
it's the 12th day of November. It's like this year is almost gone. I'm Greg Gnyp, Chris Yasinski, the Gnop of the Gnyp Gnop. How are you, my friend?
I am the Gnop. Someone came to me yesterday downtown. They said, "Hey, you're Gnop."
That's awesome.
And I went, "What?"
Yeah. And then you remembered and hung your head in shame.
I'm Gnop.
How are you? How you doing?
Damn you, Gnyp. Damn you.
Yes. You doing all right?
I'm great.
That's good.
Can't complain.
Good. Well, you know, it's today was a good day. I mean, so far so good. You know, I took the dogs for a walk and the sun was shining and it's not cold yet, so that makes me happy.
There you go.
You know,
but snow is around the corner. So
I know. Because I mean, did you see some of the snowstorms up in northern Ontario?
No,
like craziness, like big snow. And then I've got a friend of mine, my friend Ashley. She was showing me some of the crazy snow that she's had in the she's a Youper now.
Oh,
so she's was showing me some of the big snowstorms, and I'm like, ugh, no thanks. So before I start, I got to say rest in peace to Andrew Barker, because I've talked about my 808 State hat before, but he passed away a couple of days ago from a short illness. Yep. And it was sad. I mean, truly one of the influential influential bands of the 80s in the whole techno electronica sound in England, from Manchester. So he passed away. So that's so I'm wearing my 808 State hat in honor of Andrew Barker today.
Nice.
So well, I know a couple of weeks ago, you and I we talked about flavored flavored vodkas, right?
Yeah, I think I got pissed on that show, didn't I?
Yeah, I do believe. Well, speaking of getting pissed, are you drinking anything today?
Just water.
Are you? Well, look, guess what I'm doing? I'm doing a beer. I said I'm having. It's going to be one of those kind of weekends where I'm going to be crazy busy.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to have a beer today. So I'm having a Bone Shaker from Amsterdam. It's my favorite IPA.
Nice. Congratulations on that.
Yes. So I figured, you know what, why not? I'll just have a beer in my coffee cup because, you know, I want to make it look perfect. I know. I just grabbed a mug off the counter and I went, yeah, that's fine. All right, let's go. Flavored vodka.
Oh, God.
Arby's coming out. Oh, my God. Arby's is coming out with two flavored vodkas, actually.
Oh, gosh.
They're going to be your French fry flavored vodkas.
Oh, gosh.
It's going to be a high quality potato vodka.
Oh, well, there you go. Yep.
So the curly fried vodka is distilled with cayenne, paprika, onion, and garlic. And the crinkle fry vodka is made with kosher salt and sugar.
No.
I've got to be honest, the crinkle fry one doesn't intrigue me at all, but I am slightly intrigued by the curly fry one. I would definitely try this. Now, it's going to be coming out limited quantities November 18th on a website specifically for the vodka. Arby's is going to be offering interested customers a second chance to buy the French fry spirits on November 22nd, and it's going to be about $60. That includes shipping and handling.
No.
I'm taking you have no interest?
Absolutely nothing. Anything called curly something, I'm not drinking.
I don't know. See, I got to be honest. The curly fries, I love the curly fries. And
no.
Well, think about it. French fries, they're potatoes, vodka, potatoes. It's a match made in heaven.
You know, it's a funny Arby's story, but here we go. I'm going to say this live on the air. I had a vice president that I worked for a lot of years ago. In the waste management business, who'd fly back and forth around Texas and Detroit. And one day he was on a flight with a senior vice president of Arby's, and he asked me, he goes, "Dude, like how do you get roast beef for like 99 cents?" And the guy says, 2 words: old cows.
Wow.
So anyway,
no.
There you go.
You know, There's a couple of really bad jokes with the old cows right
Oh,
now.
I'm sure there is.
I'm just
Along with the
gonna-
curly fries.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move on. Yep,
Move
But
on.
That's kind of terrible and horrible. But I have to be honest. Every once in a while, I still get a craving for just the basic Arby's sandwich. Just I take it since you've been told that statement. I bet you've never had an Arby's, have you?
You're correct.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but you don't eat a lot of fast food anyway, so do you?
When you're on the road, you're on the road. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of tough not to, right? So it is what it is.
Yeah. See, every once in a while, I do crave myself a little fast food goodness. Hence the reason at Christmas time people give me gift cards to different fast food restaurants around the city, which is all good. So yesterday was Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
And I said, right, and I was telling you this earlier. I said, I think more people, and I don't know, this is just my opinion and what I saw. It seemed like there were more people wearing poppies or wearing the wristbands, the Lest We Forget wristbands.
Oh, yeah.
This year than I've seen in the last couple of years. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but every year I buy 3-4 poppies because I lose them.
Sure, constantly.
So it's like I just go back in. Here's another $5. Here's another $5. I don't care. It's going to agree. But I mean, I don't know. And so I was kind of doing a little bit of research when after I talked to you, and they said that Remembrance Day seems to be coming back a bit, and they're saying because there was like that weird little break where people didn't really know anybody that might have been in the war, but because of Afghanistan and Iraq,
Right.
a lot of people know somebody that was either in the war or at least one of their friends had somebody in the war, one of those kind of things. So that the whole idea of Remembrance Day has kind of become a little bit more personal to people again, because, so many people and I mean, I know Remembrance Day is important to you because of your dad.
Yeah, my father, who passed away in 2013, kind of fought the war because he had, like everyone else, had no choice in Europe, right? I mean, he was 16 years old. He was kind of ripped out of his home in Poland and into Siberia when the Russians and the Germans kind of split Poland early on in the invasion, and he joined the Freed Allied Forces under British forces when the Americans signed the Allied agreement with the Brits, and of course the Russians freed them, gave them to the Brits, and he went out fighting with the Brits, but it was like a Polish battalion, and they kind of went through Europe and chased Rommel, through the Middle East chasing Rommel, and then came back and fought at Monte Cassino in Italy. So yeah, I mean it's deeply personal to our family. We got those epic pictures. I think we've shared them before on the show, and I get your statement, Greg, that it's a wonderful thing that people are recognizing Veterans Day or Remembrance Day, as we call it here in Canada. But boy, isn't it sad that it's actually relevant to a younger generation because they've lost loved ones or family members, right? I mean, it's a horrible thing, and it's a great thing to kind of reflect every year and say, you know what, I'm lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to live in such a wonderful country, and that we have our freedoms, and it's all because of these people who sacrificed their lives.
Oh yeah, this goes back probably 5-6 years ago when I was living in South Windsor. I was out for a walk. I'd taken the dogs for a walk. Then I went back out for a walk, and it was funny because as I was walking through the neighborhood, I came upon this elderly gentleman, and I ended up starting, talking with him, and he was on Dunkirk, got saved on Dunkirk, and then he went back in 44 and hit the beaches. And, so he saw a lot of horrible stuff.
Sure.
And, but it was interesting because one of the things that he said was, when I asked him that one question, I said, what is the one thing that we need to know that from you guys? And he said, he goes, everybody always talks about the veterans and says, thanks to us. He said, but there were people who were blowing up the bridges and blowing up the trains before we got them, the freedom fighters. And then there were people who fed us while we were going through and things like that. And he said there were so many people involved in the war. He said, on Remembrance Day, remember everybody, because that's the thing. It wasn't just, you know what I mean? Like the way he said it was, he's like, remember everyone. And
Sure.
and that's kind of like that. I think about it because, you don't, think about how many women went into the factories. They Rosie the Riveter, they had, because the men were off to war. It's like, it's kind of a scary thing. And I'm, knock on wood, I hope I never, ever have to live through anything like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
Greg, it's like everything else. There's good feelings and bad feelings, right? I mean,
Yep.
There's good feelings about all these sacrifices that people made to make this country so great, and it gives you this sense of nationalism, and then there's the bad feelings of, like, there's a war machine out there that's constantly producing wars to kill people, and make this a cyclical thing from generation to generation to generation. I mean, I had this discussion the other day with somebody. I said, how does the United States spend more money than, all the G20 nations put together on military? Yet, we got to do fundraisers because somebody needs a dog or some vet needs a leg. I mean, why can't you take care of your own vets?
well, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there today.
Don't go there. Don't go there. Sorry.
right.
It's just,
So-
we're a happy show, ladies and gentlemen. We're a happy show.
We really are. We really are. But, and you know what, though? And we're going to go to a little bit of sad right now.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit, but I think this is kind of important because a lot of people who watch, okay, so we love music. We really do. You and I
Sure.
are crazy music heads. I've been involved in the music industry since 1984. Basically the same. You've been there as long as I have. It's like that whole kind of thing. I've been to so many big festivals. I've been to so many different concerts. I mean, all this kind of stuff. I've been to some shows where I have been made to feel uncomfortable. I mean, where I've been like, you know what? I'm going to make sure I'm kind of closer to the back and, just stay away from that huge, crazy mosh pit and anything like that. And why are we talking about it? Of course, Astro World, where
Tragic.
Yes, yesterday the ninth victim succumbed to her injuries, and there's still a couple more. Who are there's like a 9-year-old boy. He's in a medically induced coma right now, fighting for his life, and a few others that are
So sad.
And you have done a ton of big events, races, concerts, things like that. You're rather knowledgeable about the whole idea of crowd control and
crowd
things like
sciences.
that.
Yeah.
What do you? First of all, I'm going to ask you this question though, just really quick. What do you think went wrong?
Oh God, everything went wrong. So, just to kind of go back one step, Greg, I am a member of the kind of the safety community when it comes to entertainment and it comes to crowd sciences and safety. So I belong to the National Center for Spectator Sports and Safety and Security, which is out of the University of Southern Mississippi. NCS4 is this wonderful organization where kind of professionals from the sport industry and entertainment and marathon was a part of that after the bombing at Boston. We all kind of come together and discuss these issues kind of around public events, and it's all kind of done under the auspices of the Department of Homeland Security in the United States, which looks after all these large event kind of safety concerns, especially in big venues. So, and I take courses, like I took courses all summer long in specifically crowd and threat assessment at outdoor events and entertainment venues in the United States. So it's just kind of interesting that when you look at crowd crush, which is the technical term of what's happened here, crowd crush happens all over the world every year. Much more frequently than you could ever imagine. Most of it's at religious pilgrimages, mostly at riots, mostly at in countries that have lots of civil unrest. And the problem that you face with crowd crush is you're stuck. You yourself are stuck, like those people who've died and are injured. They were stuck in a crowd that was so tight that when their hands were up or their hands were down, they couldn't go anywhere. And in the legal definition of crowd crush, you've basically lost all of the square footage around your body, and now you're losing the square footage of airspace in your lung capacity. Those people did not die of being trampled, they died of asphyxiation. And that's what's important, is that people die because they can't breathe, and that's what happens in a crowd crush. And a crowd crush has a very telltale sign to it, and it's literally, and it's the most spookiest thing you've ever seen in your life when you see it. You're looking out at a crowd, and all of a sudden it becomes like a wave, and it goes back and it goes forth, it goes back and it goes forth, and that's because people have absolutely no ability or governance over their own body to actually move. They're moving because the next person next to them is moving, and on and on and on and on.
That is absolutely terrifying. Like I can't even imagine that. I said, the closest to something like for me was being at a white zombie show.
Oh, okay.
At a white zombie show where the main floor, I thought, well, I'll go down to the main floor. How bad can it get? And I was terrified. I mean, I started to feel that kind of that thing where I'm like, and I'm going to go back to the back. I'm going to go up into the stands, and I'm like, you guys can do whatever you want on the floor, but it's a terrifying feeling when you all of a sudden start feeling like you can't move.
Yeah.
And whatever the guy next to you is doing that's what you're doing, because like you said, it's almost like that wave. Now, so one of the questions I was, because there's a lot of blame, being put
Sure.
on Travis Scott,
And there should be.
being put on Drake. Now, but the thing is, when you're on the stage, how much control do those guys really have? Like, and I guess that from your perspective,
Sure, they have all the control in the world. They actually hold the button that controls everything in that venue. So let me give you a really good example of what's some of the anecdotal stories. And first off, what's going to happen is the FBI were called in, which was kind of regulatory that they would come in and help. So FBI is going to do a timeline, and when they actually break down the timeline of CCTV videos, videos on the stage, and cell phone videos, they'll actually do this timeline and chronologically look at all the events that have occurred and what happened. Now, there won't be one singular part that's to blame event-wise in a crowd crush, but it'll be a series of mistakes that have kind of compiled to be a perfect storm to cause a death. And it's just like that. When you look at the broad investigations of, let's say, the Love Parade, where 21 people died in Germany, in Dusseldorf, Germany, it was an issue where security, with a lack of communication, and it's a remote site. Imagine this big industrial remote site in the middle of a city that has 13 stages with EDM musicians that actually rotate around on tractor trailers around this big site. Now, to get to this site, you have to actually access a tunnel that has 2 entrances and a big ramp coming out of the tunnel to get into the site. Somehow, somewhere, security released everybody from the event down while people were coming into the event up. Now, there are crowd specialists that say that there was 1.2 million people at the event. The organizers said there were 400,000 people at this event. It was a free EDM festival. So how messed up do you think that's going to get?
Oh, man.
So
I can't even imagine.
Again, it's small little details that kind of become this massive problem. So is Drake to blame? Good question. I can tell you right now, the organizers, Live Nation, the artist, probably head of security are all to blame. I've seen a series of interviews with the fire chief who said that he tried to speak to someone that day, couldn't get it. He tried to do an inspection, was denied access to the site. Boy, oh boy, there are so many problems here. And it's a failure of first off, a number of things. One is understanding your entire goal, and your goal is to have a safe show and bring everyone back their loved ones. That has to be your goal in doing any event that you plan, large or small. And obviously, not done. Not done. How about the video of the two young people screaming at the camera operator saying, "Stop the show, stop the show."
Yeah.
And he's like, get off my my perch.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, right? And I guess that's the part where I don't understand. But you know what? But the worst thing is, again, I think to myself, I go, okay, the camera operator, right?
Sure.
He's so focused on his job, right? And he doesn't understand, and I don't mean to say that he does, and I'm not trying to pass the buck, but it's like, he's sitting there going, I don't know what to do. I've never been in this situation. It's that, I look at the organizers and I'm thinking to myself going, okay, you guys probably didn't have the security the way you should have had it set up. And if you're going to deny the fire chief the access to take a look, I'm thinking there's something shady going on. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. So you have to partner with all those people. EMS and fire in the United States are one organization, kind of opposed to what we have here. We have separate organizations. So it's really important that they become your physical partners. They have radios. They're in your command center, right? For an event that size, you need a large command center, and it has to be represented by all of the people who are stakeholders in the event, which is your fire, your EMS, your police. I mean, they only had 1,000 cops for 50,000 people. Seems a little low to me. There's all kinds of problems as they keep coming out and coming out. Will the truth come out? It will. So let's wait for the entire investigation to be done. But blame will go like this. Blame will go to the artist, to the producer, to Live Nation, to the city of Dallas or whatever municipality, or sorry, the city of Houston or whatever municipality it was truly in, because they issued a permit that this was going to be a safe event. Plus the insurance companies. I mean, it'll all just kind of be like, it's liability in the United States, like everywhere else, is like liquid, and it'll go to whoever's got the deepest pockets.
All right. So here's my question for you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to an event.
Right.
I'm going to an event.
Christmas
big
party.
music festival. What's that?
Christmas party.
Christmas party. It's going to be 50,000 people.
Woo!
Woo! I like people at Christmas. What do I look for? What are some things that I should really look for at a?
Yeah. So first off, trust yourself. Trust yourself. You get that feeling when you're in a room. You get that feeling when you're in a situation that's like, okay, you get that little tingling going. There's just something not right here. And
I do that every time I see you.
That's true. But the reality is, and you sit out with the concert you went to. You went down to the floor and it's like, there's something just not right here in the way that it's either the mood of the crowd and that's kind of where violence breaks out. So first off, you walk into a room, understand where your exits are. That's the most important thing. And that's exactly what happens in a crowd crush. There's no exit. There's no egress for these people to get out. There's no strain relief. If they're pushing towards the stage, then there's, on the side of the stage should be openings that security's opening up, pulling people from that area. And that's the physicalities and the problems, right? People die in crowd crushes because they're up against a wall or a sharp object. But if you're in a situation, it's an outdoor festival, I got to tell you, work your way to the sides. The sides are going to be your saving grace, whether it's going to be a ladder or climbing up a fence. That's going to be your saving grace.
All right. What else do I need? What else do I look for? Like, do you look for maybe where the EMS guys might be, where security is? Do you stay closer to those, like, to them, or do you?
Yeah, so look, you and I have had this experience. The best seats in the house are always by the mixing board.
Yeah.
Right, for sound. They're also in a protected area, so it may be easier to kind of jump in there if something happens. But the reality is just watch your space as it becomes narrower. Start backing up. Start getting to the sides.
Yeah, which sounds so basic, so common sense, But the thing is, you're at a show. It's your favorite artist. You want to get up as close as you can, and then you realize that you put yourself in a bad situation. It's that whole thing where it's like, you sometimes common sense must prevail, and I agree. Yeah, thank you.
Trust your instincts. You have to trust your instincts.
And if your gut says move, maybe it's not a bad time to start moving.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Chris. Look at that. You've learned well, I'm telling you.
It's remembering. That's the hard part these days.
Oh, yes. That's why I'm only having one bone shake.
There you go. Yeah. I'll stick with my water.
Oh, I know. That's okay. I'm proud of you, though, hydrating.
Yes. Oh, and you know what? In the next couple of weeks, Dinosaur Jr. is going to be on with us.
Really?
Yeah. Talk about their new album and their new concert date in Detroit.
Very cool.
Yeah. Cool. Till next week.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Chris, you be good.
You too, Greg.